Here.
Mr. Lopez. Mr. Hennis.
Here.
Mrs. Harrington.
Here.
First up on the agenda for this evening is the board agenda. So if there's any kind of questions or for the following meeting, now's an opportune time to ask or go through. So just, we have a lot of, as a question, and Dr. Battle and I spoke about this the other day, there's a lot of different policies for reading tonight. Maybe just to give some folks just kind of a little background on what all of them are, so that we just kind of have a little bit of an idea. These are just, this is second reading and first reading on a couple of them, correct?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Yes, sir, that's correct. So what I'll do, it's over here, so I can do that. So if we go to section D, as far as the audits and financial report, moreover, what you see underlined is what is included or added to the standard or to the policy. So the governing board shall publicly accept all audits and compliance and questionnaires by roll call. So that's just a strategy that they're asking us to do something different.
Yes.
Okay. We go to E. This is regarding our bus drivers and the training that's required. As you know, we are contracted with Durham, that all drivers are required to possess a commercial driver's license. There was a lot of discussion in the state relative to extracurricular transportation, and Ms. Salazar and I were paying close attention to that the CDL is required for driving our students in our buses, not necessarily in our vans. And so we were very pleased to find that that communication came out the way it did. As it relates to G, the additional things there, and this came about with HB, new policies, to be really clear about what our contracts say. So Ms. Reynolds and team will be working towards making sure that base salary is visible. The total compensation packet is broken down by category that are A through G: medical benefits, retirement benefit plans, legal requirements, any paid leave, other payment made. So moreover, and also lastly, any other benefit provided to the employee must be included in the contract for the compensation package. And I'm on I. Now, the basic instructional program, if you take a look at it, it's a little bit everywhere, but it's holistic, K through 12. The areas that we want to focus on for high school means that we need to be sure that we are incorporating all the things that are in A through F. But what's really important to us, that I'll be working closely with the site, is regarding the mastery. So second priority, first priority is really emphasis for elementary, language acquisition, dyslexia, and so forth. But the second priority, which is really important to us, is it says the instructional program will be mastery of the fundamentals of mathematics. Mastery is very key as we're moving into next year, especially our mastery-based learning procedures and professional development. But it's not just elementary, it's kind of the way they word it, it leans towards elementary, but it is all-inclusive K-12.
Okay.
And then the JLCB is about the immunizations. As we know, things have turned one way or the other, so it's just letting us know that a school district or charter school may not require a student or teacher to receive vaccination for COVID. And then section K is regarding parent involvement in education. So the superintendent, in consultation with parents and teachers and administrators, we need to develop procedures for parent involvement, and then it has basic guidelines in which we shall.
Okay.
Okay. As it relates to the others, I can be really brief, sir, that for JJJ, those are extracurricular activities, policies that we wanted to make sure that we were following our practices, supported what we're doing. So we have in there, if you would like more detail, it'd be my pleasure, what is required to be eligible for athletics and when grade checks will take place and when a child will be ineligible. And then the NARCON policy actually came about, and I want to thank our legal counsel for support, as you know, unfortunately, children and adults are losing their lives because of medical or prescription drugs or non-prescription, and NARCON is something that can help. But in order to help, I wanted to make sure we had a policy in place that was established to be able to use proper equipment to save the lives of individuals.
And you said that NARCON policy had been run through by our attorney?
Yes, sir. And I believe that's it, unless there's other things you'd like me to cover.
No, and the extracurricular was just clarifying some kind of language from the past. This was just clarifying some
Yes,
stuff.
sir. Thank you very much for that. And Mr. Hinnis, I have to tell you that we are going to make sure the regulation is really clear. As we spoke the other day, we were going to add the language about passing. And unfortunately, we weren't able to do that before today. We can bring that back and make sure that's there, or we can make sure it's emphasized in the regulation for you.
That sounds, any other questions? I mean, some of these things, foreign trade zone is just clarification, is something we've got in the past, requested by the local development group, et cetera.
Yes, that's accurate. That's from the economic development. They shared with us those two zoning possibilities that we think would be very beneficial to the district and to the community for our workers.
Okay, any other, those are kind of just some highlights that I kind of saw as just as questions. So, any other questions or? Okay, good. So I guess we're down to item C, effective in the, Taylor, you good with that?
Yeah, that's fine, thank you.
Okay, we're down to item C, effective and efficient communication.
Yes. Yes, as we have been able to share with the board and the public an update on our priorities, the two that we'll be presenting to you this evening include Mr. Griffiths, who is our lead for effective, efficient communication. And then also we'll hear from Mr. Ron regarding the online academy update. Mr. Griffiths.
Thank you. President Hess, members of the board, Dr. Nettle. This initially started out as revisiting our communications plan. The last time it was updated was in I think it was 2015, 2016 school year. So a lot has changed in communicating, marketing, just the demographics in our area. They're always expanding. So we are now in the process of rebuilding that. In addition to that, because that one really covers the basics of what the effective communications is, we're also going to address goals 2 and 3. Goal 1 is the primary focus right now, but we're also working with goals 2 and 3, and we'll get to those in just a minute, what each one of those is. So nobody can do it by themselves, of course, and we assembled a team to start working on all this together. We have Marilyn Treehouse, who is the social media specialist for the district, Mr. Anderson, the assistant principal at Casa Grande High School, Norma Sanchez, a school counselor, Jeanette Beecham, the interim principal at Vista Grande, and Jennifer Kurtzen, who's a school counselor over at Vista. Norma and Jennifer both have a keen interest in communications because that's a lot of what they do with the parents and the students. So there's 3 goals in the priority. We're not going to read them right now because we're going to cover them individually as we go. And we'll start with goal 1. Promote timely, accurate, and open exchange of district information with students, parents, staff, and the community. And right now what we're doing, so we get a better grip on this, is we did a survey for parents, a survey for students, and then a survey for teachers and staff. We can't start communicating effectively until we know what their expectations are. And some of the responses we got were kind of surprising. The survey just closed last Thursday, so we haven't had time to completely digest everything and get it all disaggregated. But there were some key points in there, and that's what the focus today is going to be things that really surprised me when I was looking at those responses. So again, we covered students, parents, teachers, and staff. Those are our key stakeholders that we can communicate with and we have direct access to through phone, email, and the means of communicating. We kind of broke down the survey into some general areas. If we're going to effectively communicate with our parents, we got to know if they have internet access. I think the most valid responses are going to be those of the students, because if a parent doesn't have internet access, they're probably not going to answer the survey. The kids, though, did have internet access because they were doing a lot of it on campus. Communications preferences. What do you want? What do you want to know about? Communications frequency. How often? And the responses were kind of all over the board on that one. We found that some people are saying, hey, quit sending us so much stuff. Other people are saying, hey, you're not sending us enough. So we're going to have to really dig into the free-form responses and find out exactly what's going on with that one. Social media use, another area that surprised me. It's not what I expected. And then the school and district websites. So on the school and district websites, we did enlist professional to review our website. And we've taken those responses and we're slowly working through them and upgrading based on their feedback.
So Dave, what was your comment about social media use as far as what that surprised you and in what fashion?
Well, one of the questions was, how, for the students is the one that surprised me. How would you like us to communicate with you? And of course, when you're talking about the kids, you're thinking, oh, yeah, they're going to want us to be communicating through TikTok and
You have to answer, is that what you have to do? To get the message across?
the vast majority asked for email. And I think it surprised me. Next was text. Sure. And then the social media sites fell back behind that. I don't have all that broken down yet, so I don't have that covered today, but it is overwhelmingly email is what they want to have as a primary means of communication. And this one, I try to ask this question every time we do a survey because equitable access is more important than anything else as far as getting our kids educated, in my personal opinion. Of course, you're talking to the IT guy, but if the kids don't have equitable access while they're at home, they're a huge disadvantage. They need to have access at home. And we did do a big push during COVID, of course, to get Wi-Fi hotspots and things like that for the kids. But based on the surveys, we're gonna have to go out and hit them again and find out what's going on, because we will offer them means of communicating. By and large, there are areas in our district that you cannot get service. So outside like satellite. But we're gonna do everything we can to cover every one of those kids that do. So in this go, oh, I did have it in here, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Emails. Just looking at those charts right there, that just absolutely astounded me. Look at social media as compared to that, roughly half. I would have never guessed that in my whole life.
Good question. Is there a reason why the Vista Grande numbers are so much higher as far as student answers?
Yes, and that's something we learned doing the survey. We did our survey. Vista Grande was doing a survey and then had to go back. There were other surveys for, Melanie, you guys had a survey go out too as well. Is that correct? Yeah. We learned that what we need is a plan on
Communication.
what's going out and when it's going out, because everybody's sending all these surveys and you're going to survey burnout. And it's like, I as a parent, if I saw 5 or 6 surveys.
That's that round file, right? Isn't that right?
Yes. So that's one of the first things we learned out of this, and we're actually going to work towards a plan where we schedule our communications, at least down to the week, where we can say, okay, these days are open, these days are not, and things like that. But it has to be more coordinated because the responses we got, just,
Right, it's
not what we
like
want.
double Vista Grande response versus
Yeah.
CD.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's another issue, and you're gonna see several slides on this, because rather than try to make some super dense piece of information for you to digest. I'm gonna go to the students, parents, and staff surveys, and you'll see the same thing on a lot of these. How are we communicating with our kids if they don't even know these things exist?
Wow.
Yeah, they don't know they exist. So this one is on the school social media. Parents, even though they do know about our Facebook, that's still way too large of a number for having parents not even know about our other social media sites, because we do have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. We have teachers and staff, even though it's not a large number, we have teachers and staff that don't know we have school social media. District social media is even further off the radar. These numbers are just huge. The vast majority of the kids don't know we have social media in the district. We have a lot of good content that comes out from the district too. Everything that we do is posted through there pretty much when it's being announced. Events, awards, anything big happening in the district is all going out through our social media outlets. Even the parents, I know they're more involved at the school level, but there's still a need to see what's going on in the district as well. Again, teachers and staff didn't know the district has social media outlets. So the rest of the survey information, we're going to have it compiled and we'll provide it as a report. And if anybody wants us to, we will be glad to come back as a team and present what our findings were and then what our next steps will be. So goal number 2, promote positive publicity of the district resources that communicates district news and events to the Casa Grande Union High School district community. So what this leads into is a sort of a marketing campaign. People need to know what we have to offer because, and I'm just gonna, our schools have the deepest bench around. We cover everything. We have our core courses, of course, the CTE courses, super deep, and all of our athletics, fine arts. People need to know about these things. I don't think they know exactly how much we have to offer. That's a really big deal for us. So one of the first things we did is had a video put together. This will be played off of our YouTube channel, and it'll actually be done as people are surfing. It'll come up as an advertisement, so people will catch this video without even having to look for it. And this is one of my favorite examples. So here we go.
Our programs are consistently recognized at the local, state, and national level for their excellence.
Our students have access to excelling and award-winning programs. From band to drama, construction to engineering, we have something for everyone.
Students are also able to develop their personal interests by participating in various clubs, sports, extracurricular activities such as National Honor Society, Student Council, band, JROTC, football, volleyball, cross country, baseball, softball, track and field. Casa Grande Union High School District inspires excellence for everyone.
Get the word out. Yeah, I think you did a good job on that. And Jeanette she's over there with a funny face. We also had one done for the online academy.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to do it, but they did a wonderful job on both of them. So, so goal 3, embrace community involvement in our schools and promote community and district opportunities that benefit our students and local business and industry. So the big thing here is partnerships. Partnering with those people in the community already. This is going to give our kids a real leg up. We can have paid internships with career pathways into the companies. And it's not just the companies that are out here, it's all the companies in Casa Grande. Because we have such a deep bench, our kids are exposed to pretty much anything you want to have going out there. Auto, carpentry, plumbing, anything that you can think of, our school provides it. So that being said, we're working with some of the companies that you see up here building those partnerships. So some of this is already in motion, and so there's new meetings coming up with some of the other companies as well. So you'll see a lot more on that as well. Having those internships, paid internships, is going to be great for the kids. I did the same thing. I was a carpenter by trade when I first started out, when I was back in high school, and I actually had a paid internship. And that's probably what kept me in school, because it's one of those things, I was making so much money. This is before the crash. And it's like, why am I in school? I'm making all kinds of money. I'm making more money than a lot of people with degrees. So, but it kept me in school because it's like they gave you this pathway. And of course, you have your employers espousing the virtues of staying in school at the same time. So it's like a whole support system. And it really helped me out. So that was awesome.
David's question, on the City of Casa Grande website, is there not a link to like the schools, et cetera, as well? So you could do some kind of promotion or something? I mean, when people look up Casa Grande and see what, is available.
I haven't looked for it, but I will definitely be looking for it now. And I'll let you know, for sure. So all of this is great. What are we going to do about it is the biggest issue. So we're going to continue working with the communications committee, take all that information that we've pulled from the parents, and then start developing action plans. How to communicate, when to communicate. There's a lot of other questions in there aside from what we've shown on this presentation. How often they want to be communicated with the teachers and the principals, and just a plethora of information. The marketing plan, we will hopefully increase our enrollment. That's dollars in our pockets. We pull in kids, that might not be coming here right now, but they're living in our boundaries. Every one of them that we pull in is extra cash for us. So we'll do everything we can to pull some more. And getting the word out, I think we'll do that naturally. They don't have the opportunities where they are that they begin with us. And then, of course, the updated communications plan is the ultimate goal for us, because it'll encapsulate everything that we're doing, and it'll have pretty strict guidelines. The old one is pretty broad, a lot of room for interpretation when things are happening and how. We're going to be a little more explicit and have more of a flow chart type of feel. So, hey, I want to communicate this information. What do I do? And make it easy for people so they don't have to sit and think. I know we've had that problem all along. We got to get this information out. What do we do? And then we'll put our heads together and come up with an answer. We need to have those answers readily available and have everybody set to go right then and there.
So I guess one of the questions, since it's just was in the news not too long, I mean, this is, we're promoting positive communication, intercommunication. So the shooting that just happened, where you have to reach out and blanket, I mean, the district, what do we have to be able to reach? Text, email, the whole blanket? I mean, I hate to talk about something like that, but it's reality.
Yeah, it is reality. And so we have a piece of Power School. It's called Instant Connect, and it runs off the student database. And it runs will contact all the parents. You can contact all the students separately if you want, or all the staff. So yeah, that's the tool we use for it. Okay. And that's all I have. Is there any other questions?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Griffiths. And as you all know, his title is IT Director and Analyst. So somewhere on his side job, he's able to help us with our communication plan. So thank you very, very much, Mr. Griffiths. And so now we'll have Andrea Turan, who's going to give us an update on CGOA.
Thank you. President Hennis, members of the board, and Dr. Battle, thank you for allowing me an opportunity to meet with you this evening to update you on our CGOA, our online academy, our new school. My name is Andrea Turan. I'm the administrator for this new school. It's exciting. Our office is here at the district office. It is, please stop by and check us out. I share the office with our admin assistant, Mrs. Calvillo. I will be also sharing our office with Mrs. Donnelly, who will be our full-time guidance counselor starting soon. So right now, we're sharing her with Casper Indian High School. We have 2 educators supports. We call them our learning success coaches. They are supporting our 9th and 10th graders, Mr. Clark, and our 11th and 12th grade is being supported by Mr. Harding. We also have ESS support that we share with our Mr. Grande High School. Mrs. Behrens is our ESS case manager, and Ms. Devin Green is our ESS para support that meets with our students weekly. Just a quick overview, our educational needs are being managed with our Edgenuity Instructional Services. We are in a partnership with our with Edgenuity and their instructional services. They provide our teacher of records. They are state certified, Arizona State certified. We also use their courseware, which is also Arizona State standards based. I can't see this. Sorry about that. Edgenuity also provides us layers of support through concept coaching. Students are able to get immediate. Dave, can you help me for a minute? Yeah, they're able to get immediate on-demand tutoring through concept coaching. I can't see this.
I help see that.
I can't see it.
We're gonna have to get big monitors.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get bigger monitors. Okay.
And I'll step out and I'll let the show for you so you can get the big screen.
I can do this. I don't know why last time I could read this, but this time I cannot. Our special education coordinator, we've met with Edgenuity. They also help support us with providing accommodations, modifications for our ESS students. They provide our customer service support for any of our students that are having difficulties as well. As the district, our portion of support for our students is through our learning success coaches. So our learning success coaches help facilitate that student engagement piece. They are constantly communicating with their students and our parents that on their academic progress, session log progress, are they coming to school in a sense, are they logging in daily? They are also holding reteaching sessions with our students. They're providing SEL support through our cohort meetings, and they are working with our ESS staff as well to help support any of our ESS students. So some of those ways is by just meeting with them through teams. So that's how our learning success coaches are working with them. Our program, just a few details of our program in a sense. Our program requires our students to log in daily for 5 hours per day. For an online program, our attendance is managed through, it's identified through instructional hours. So it's not, we take attendance a little different. So it's based on the instructional hours the students are logging into our system. So that's why we mandate the 5 hours, 25 hours per week. It's a minimum requirement, but it is necessary for them to at least stay on track. We use that Monday through Sunday, so 7 days a week. So it's a little different than an in-person school attendance.
So just a question, how do you verify, or how do you make sure that kids are, logging in and online doing work and et cetera, et cetera?
So right now, Edgenuity support sends us a report weekly on our attendance and our instructional hours and how many hours students are actually logging in. But there is also a report that we use. We're able to log into Edgenuity and actually see a weekly snapshot of someone's attendance. And it gives us a breakdown of hours and minutes for those students. So I could log in today and see how many people worked this evening and how many hours they actually worked. So it's pretty easy for us to get in there. But right now, our registrar?
Yeah, she's our registrar and our data.
She and I our new registrar, data, is going to be working together, and she's going to be uploading those reportable minutes into our Power School.
Okay, and then get you ADM if they're.
Yeah. So I will enter it in Mr. Hennis. what we're working on is to ensure that while we can see what kids are doing, we need them to increase their activity, because that's where our ADA comes from. And so Andrea is working diligently with her staff to bridge that gap. So yes, in fact, we see it, but we need to see more activity, because the minutes are what generates our ADA.
Correct. That along with the completion of courses or course enrollment, or course enrollment. We are also looking at hiring an attendance clerk for second semester so that we can have this person just totally dedicated to following up with families, students, making sure that they're logging in.
Question?
Yes.
Now, you state that it's a minimum of 5 hours per day. Now, that isn't 5 hours in a row. It's 2 hours at a time, take a break, come back again type of thing. Are you seeing more than the average of 5 hours per day from these students?
Yes, we are. There are some kids that may have low numbers maybe this week, but as the semester goes, as the quarter goes, and the end of the quarter starts nearing, you will see those numbers start ramping up as kids are starting to spend more time trying to finish those classes. But you're right, we actually document time 24 hours. So they could be working at 2 o'clock in the morning and then working at 7 o'clock. And so it's a total of hours per day. We also schedule students. We use the same scheduling format we did last year for our online academy. We had a schedule where students were enrolled in 3 classes for 9 weeks. We just found that it was a little easier help to manage. But right now we finished Q2 and we'll be finishing Q2 December 17th. So students have been enrolled in 3 and finished 3 already.
Just a question, in the course offerings, are there any relationship, are we working at, so these kids could get like CAC credits or anything like that, or I'm just wondering if that's.
So we have some students that are working at Cabot. We don't have any kids working at CAC at this time that I know of. We do allow that as long as we are, I guess as long as they have a half-day schedule. It would be a similar schedule as they would have as in-person.
So
That
the
makes sense.
schedule allows for it.
If the schedule allows for it for
How
graduation.
many kids are taking advantage of it at this time?
None, there are none. We have students that are in Cabot currently, that have a modified schedule based on Cabot's schedule.
Yeah, I guess the question is what, you don't want to say demographic, but what kind of, is there a kind of group of kids or who are we trying to, who are we appealing to in this? You've got almost 200 kids, so obviously it fits a niche for a group of kids.
So right now, I would say that we have a combination of students that are looking to, parents and students are not safe being on a campus for COVID reasons. And then you have students that it just fits with their, what other things that are going on in their life, So we have some students that are working, trying to balance the two, some seniors that are trying to finish early. So just a combination right now. So all of our students are eligible to participate in their home campus athletics programs, their activities, extracurricular activities, and any events that are happening on their campus. They just need to work with their activities. It's AP, yeah, that's cool. So as you can see, our course offerings are, we have core classes in English, math, biology, world history. We have, right now we are only limited to world language for Spanish, and those are some examples of some of the electives that we're offering. Now I know I only put on there honors chemistry and I think honors pre-calc. We do offer any honors classes in English and math at this time, but when I was writing this up, those were the only classes we have participants in, enrollments in. For registration, our registration for semester 2 is open right now currently, but here are enrollment numbers for Q1 and Q2. As you can see, Our super seniors only has a quarter 2 enrollment. And the reason is because we were not, we had just terminated our contract with Grad Alliance, so they came over to us during that quarter 2 enrollment period. And here are our special program enrollments. At this time, we do have some students that are ESS and 504. At this time, we don't have any identified ELL students. We do have some students that have transitioned out of ELL. They just don't have that data of how many kids we have. Here's a snapshot of our quarter 1 distribution, grade distribution at the end of 9 weeks. Some things that I just need to point out is when you look at the Fs, and Dr. Battle and I have talked about this. This data was submitted to me by Mr. Griffiths, and I at the end of quarter 1, the Fs are pretty, especially when you look at the 9th and 10th graders, they are struggling. What we did, I guess one of the things I need to point out is, number 1, our program requires that students complete a final exam to earn credit. So some of these students, especially our juniors and our seniors, there were some freshmen and sophomores that had finished the whole course, they just never took their final exam. So those Fs are still posted there until they finish their final. So as we speak, I'm getting grade changes because they are taking finals. So that new data will be submitted to Dr. Battle as soon as the end of the quarter happens and we can finalize semester 1 grades. So I'll make sure to share that with you and the board. With the 9th and 10th graders, some of the things that we did was we talked with the parents and students. We met with them, but we identified kids that were struggling, failing all their courses in quarter 1, and we met with the parents to find out what was the reason why they were failing, what we could do to help support them. And in some cases, we met with parents and students, and we had students that just sat there and said, this is just not for me, and it's hard for me, I can't focus, it's not what I thought it was gonna be. So what we did is we took some of those students and we transitioned them back to in-person. So some of them went back to in-person. I worked with Jeanette Beecham and Mr. Anderson over at Union, and we got them settled back into their home schools. Now, there are some students that we put on plans, and we also outlined some expectations, whether that meant you had to meet with a learning success coach, you had to join a cohort meeting every day, follow, ask for help, pick up notes. There were things that we were trying to do to help them be successful. I'm in the middle of having quarter 2 follow-up meetings with those parents just to see how they did and see how they're doing. So that's what we're in the process of doing.
And I guess that was the question. So as these kids come in, you must kind of give them a little background as far as, requirements and a little bit of an understanding as opposed to just, some kids obviously do better in this type of, this situation as opposed to being dumped into, 1,800 to 2,000 kids and trying to not get lost in the pool.
Correct. We try to do a lot of intervening before they enroll. So we're sitting down with parents and students, trying to find out whether or not this is a program for them, where they're at academically in their graduation plan. Are we gonna be able to meet their needs? And then just kind of give them a basic outline of what the program is all about. But I think what's hard is that some students, especially like our 9th graders, what happened is they are coming from a junior high online frame, and so they met with teachers every day. And so that's something that we don't do. And so it's asynchronous, so they're learning on their own, and they're having to reach out to get help, and that's hard. So one of the things, and I have our updates up, one of the things that we're talking about and I'm just gonna go down to the 22, 23, these are the things that we are going to be talking with the design team for the 22-23 school year. And one of those things is the freshman orientation. Is do we want to create a freshman orientation where students are coming in during the summer, getting like a 2-week orientation, and this is how online is going to work. And then they can, make a decision, is this going to work for me? So the other thing we're going to be talking about is our structure of the virtual classroom. Is kind of the school calendar. Is it going to be a full year school calendar, all year long school calendar, class schedule? Are we going to be asking our kids to be meeting with a teacher bell to bell, for 15, first period you're going to meet with math teacher for 20 minutes. So we're going to be discussing those different areas. Course offerings, are we going to expand those course offerings? The blended classroom is something that is new to the district that Dr. Battles brought in that may pertain to the way we present our education to our students in an online virtual setting. Some of the partnerships that we're looking to start is with Alex. We're actually going to be piloting it in semester 2 with our math department and Algebra 1 and geometry. We also have an opportunity to partner with ETX Center with ASU for science curriculum. And we are looking at Edgenuity being transitioned out and starting with Edmentum this next following year, which I think is going to be great. There's more interaction, more student engagement. So we are looking at scheduling PD for summer of 2022. So a lot of new things for next year.
Okay, and so Ingenuity potentially is going to transition to Edmentum?
Potentially.
Yes, and so we are gonna finish that process. We've had a number of demos of it, and there's at least 3 particular areas that we're considering. We'll work with GN funding and transition. We're looking at data, as you've heard from all the principals and results. So Edmentum has curriculum that's viable and research-based and a little more interactive. We've learned from our families that have had online and where they thought they were enrolling in a similar hybrid situation where they had connection with their wonderful teachers we have in our school. So we don't have that connection. Although Edmentum has teachers of record, we're not looking for teachers of record. But Edmentum does have some curriculum that we're really excited about getting our kids into. That will be from Gen Ed as well as honors classes and electives.
So I guess the other question is specifically as freshmen coming in, that's something you need to do to kind of transition with them and to bring them on to that you're not checking in with the teacher every day, et cetera, or you need to create a program that has more of a slow transition over the first year to be with the teacher each day and then slowly go to the opposite.
I think that's just something that we've noticed with the data, but then also talking with the one freshman parents, that there is a really big need for us to do a better job at transitioning them from the junior high to the high school.
Okay, and so the attempt, so it's grown?
Currently, we are, like I said, we are open to our enrollment for semester 2. We do have some kids that right now have expressed some interest, students and parents expressing some interest to move from the campuses down to the online academy. We're right now in that we are looking at those students and verifying whether or not they're ready to come. So yes, it is growing. We're kind of changing kids a little bit, but the numbers will grow. Hopefully.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I just have a concern. I know you're talking about the contact with the teachers is not there on a daily basis. But I see a disparity here because the juniors and the seniors have the same situation and yet they're doing better. So there's something missing there that I'm quite not connecting with.
Well, our juniors and our seniors are really motivated. I mean, especially our seniors, right? They're very motivated to finish. They're experienced and some of these students we got, had experience in the online last year. So we did have some students that took online classes last year. So there is that experience level there. Just age too.
Sure. So you're bringing up a very good point, and thank you for asking. We want to make sure, and we're talking about it before we get into our registration, that parents have to attend an orientation. The kiddos will have some sort of training, we're just not sure to what degree. And after everyone demonstrates that they understand what the expectations and the maturity, we believe the virtual piece will hold some accountability, that they need to be there at least a period of time during that class period. So we'll use some of our experience as leaders and educators and couple it with what the kiddo knows he's signing up for. And then we'll make a decision about if the kid needs to go to immersion, brick and mortar first, demonstrate learning there and come over second semester so that we can make sure the kid has a good start to his high school career.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Ms. Tran. Appreciate your hard work in such a complex new environment. So thank you very, very much.
All right, I think that's, anything else? If you have other questions, we've got about 9 minutes before the regular meeting will start, so we got 9 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tia.
You gonna hang on the line there, Mr. Kirby?
All right, sounds good.
Or I can give you a break. You wanna take a break for 10 minutes, or you want
Please, we'll go ahead and call this meeting in order. Mayor, if you would do the roll call, please.
Mr. Wright?
Here.
Mr. Kirby?
Here.
Mr. Lopez?
President accounted for.
Mr. Hennis?
I'm present also.
And Mrs. Harrington?
Yes, present as well.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please rise for the presentation of the color.
Color. Hold. Order. Color. Right. Face. Carry. Color. Present. Color.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Carry. Colors. Order. Colors. Right. Face. Carry. Colors. Forward. March.
Thank you. We're going to have just a moment of silence.
It's special recognition for those who lost their lives during December 7th of Pearl Harbor.
That's a good call, Chuck, and also for the families of the high school students that we lost this past week.
Thank you.
Thank you much. First item for this evening is the adopt the agenda, and a motion to approve the agenda as presented. There's a motion by Kelly and a second by Joe. Mayor, call for the vote, please. They're right
Mr.
here.
Wright?
All right.
Here.
Mr. Kirby?
Here.
Mr.
Yeah.
Lopez?
Sorry.
Yes.
Mr. Hennis?
Yes.
Mrs. Harrington?
Yes.
Also, you have the minutes from November 2nd and the minutes from November 23rd as presented. If we could get a motion to approve those as presented. Is that a motion by Chuck? Is there a second? And a second by Kelly. Mary, call for the vote, please.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby? Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Mr. Hennis?
Yes.
Mrs. Harrington?
Yes.
And we are down to student, one of the best times of the evening, student recognition. So we have, if we could get the individual principals to come up and introduce their students, please. Flip coins, whoever you go first.
President Hennis, board members, Superintendent Dr. Ballas, pleasure to be in front of you today. It's my pleasure to introduce our student of the month. I'm not sure if she snuck in yet with the massive some-size heart. Is Claire? There she is. Come on over, Claire. Come on up and you get to blush and look great in front of everybody. Whatever you're comfortable with. So this is Claire Mungia. Am I saying the last name correct? Awesome. Claire is our Rotary Student of the Month for December. She's captain of the varsity tennis team and has been one of the varsity tennis on all 4 years. She's a member of the following clubs, the Mu Alpha Theta, DECA, and holds the following leadership positions in student council, senior class secretary, president of the Bilingual Multicultural Club, a Link Crew mentor, Key Club treasurer, Girls Who Code vice president. She's been a student delegate to the Town Hall's Future Voices Conference. She has earned academic awards for all 4 years and was awarded Outstanding AP Spanish Literature and Culture Student Recognition. I think we might have to have her recite some Don Quixote or something for us. She has received the following academic awards: a semi-finalist of the Flint Scholarship, which just by itself is amazing. AP Scholar, an AP Scholar with Distinction, AP English, Certificate of Achievement, and Cougar Pride in U.S. History. In her spare time, I'm not sure where she finds it, she works part-time as an office receptionist, is involved in St. Anthony's ARCO youth group, tutors, babysits, and volunteers, as if that wasn't enough volunteering already. She plans to attend ASU, yay, or, and I love this one, a California university. Have you picked one yet?
I can't decide.
Okay, they may decide for you. You're going to be a good commodity. They're going to be all looking for you. And wants to pursue a degree in one of the following areas: international relations and affairs, pre-engineering, legal studies or law, or technology. So very diverse, talented young lady. She's also in the running for valedictorian, currently holds a class GPA of 4.694.
Nice.
So congratulations to Claire on her amazing achievements. I'm sorry, and Claire, your parents are here with you as well. Yeah, so if you want to be stand and be recognized.
Mr. Matt, I'd like to add one little point. Galata helped us Saturday night at the parade, serving hot chocolate with us, so I really appreciate all your help. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. And we'd like to shake your hand, please.
Congratulations, Marie.
Good evening, President, Mr. Hennis, and board members, and Superintendent Dr. Battle. I would like to recognize Valeria de la Cruz. She is the Rotary Student of the Month from Vista Grande High School. I would like to also recognize her parents, Yarit Moreno and Ramon de la Cruz. While at Vista, Valeria has maintained a 4.0 or higher. She currently has a GPA of 4.2. She has received the Academic Achievement Award all 3 years, which I'm sure she'll receive again this year. Congratulations. Valeria is the president of AP Spanish Club and has taken AP Spanish the past 2 years. She has participated in National Honor Society since her freshman year. She is a member of Link Club and played soccer during her freshman and sophomore year. Valeria enjoys crafting and has begun selling her handcraft that she has created. She also works at Harkins. Her goals after Vista is to attend Northern Arizona University, seeking a major in criminal justice because she would like to be a detective. One of her lifelong goals and something that she likes to enjoy as well is she wants to travel around the world. So great job.
Congratulations, great job.
Good evening, President Hennis, board members, Dr. Beth. I seem to be losing my voice a little bit today, so bear with me. I am here tonight to present CTE Honors Students of the Month. They are both from Union High School tonight. First, I would like to recognize Alora Linehan. All right. And she was nominated by her bioscience teacher. Not here, she's not here, okay, I thought I saw her. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and let you know who she is. Anyway, she was nominated by her bioscience teacher, and that is Mr. Noel Kay. She is in her senior year as a CTE STEM biotech student. She's the president of the Arizona HOSA CGUHS chapter. She is the chief science officer, and she has a string of organizational officerships tied to her. She has the qualities of being polite, respectful, and considerate, as mentioned by many students and teachers. Alora perseveres in her studies, and she's getting very good grades in all of her subjects while managing time at work, clubs, academics, and community services. Presently, she's working on her capstone project of genetically modifying rice with beta-carotene to obtain more vitamin A. Her parents are David and Maricel Linehan of Casa Grande. So we would like to congratulate her, even though she could not be present tonight. And the second student being recognized this evening from Union is Sofia Jordan. And she was nominated by her teacher, Mr. John Morris, and he is the engineering teacher at Union. Her parents are Jared and Anna Mae. And now I would like to read to you what Mr. Morris has to say. Not only has Sophia excelled in the freshman engineering courses, having achieved the Certified SolidWorks Associate Professional Designation, but she has exceeded my expectations as a sophomore second-year engineering student. Her brilliance and creativity shine through in everything that she does. In addition to exceeding expectations in the engineering curriculum, Sophia is quick to step forward when additional opportunities outside the curriculum are presented. As the Chief Operating Officer for the CGUHS chapter of the Students for Exploration and Development of Space, Sophia keeps club activities coming along like a finely tuned machine. As the lead designer of this year's first robotics team to produce this year's, first robotics competition team, she will be busy coordinating the game analysis and strategy team and the build team to produce this year's competition robot. Sophia was quick to step forward to become a member of the Near Space Research Team, which is working with the Arizona Space Grant Consortium, and they've recently designed, construction, and launched a payload at 100,000 feet, gathering data and photographs during the flight. Sophia is also part of the Colorado Space Grant Consortium's Great Lunar Expedition for Everyone project, and is working on a device that is scheduled to land on the moon in December of 2023. It is for those reasons and many others not described here that I nominate Sofia Jordan to be the December 2021 CTE Student of the Month for engineering.
Very exciting. Congratulations. Dr. Mallon, can you please presentation of the CGS student body president?
Yes, sir. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank you, Mr. Morrison, for all that you do. I know you're back there, for our babies on the regular. So exciting. So I would like to ask for Ms. Kayla Riggs, the student body president of Casa Grande Union High School. She's going to provide an update to the board on how wonderful things are going at Casa Grande Union High School. Kayla.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. So happy to be here. And just present to you what Student Council has been doing for Union this semester. So to start off the year, we had Rush Week. So we just, try to grab as many underclassmen as we could to join clubs, especially Student Council. And we were able to actually make a lot of posters for clubs to advertise. So we had a lot of people sign up. That was good, a lot more people than usual. We were very happy about that. So probably the biggest event of the semester, if not the year, is our homecoming week. And so we actually kind of separated into part 1 and part 2. The theme was Hollywood for the dance. And for unfortunate circumstances, it started raining. And 30 minutes into the dance had to be rescheduled. And so that's why it's part 1 and part 2. So we have our Spirit Week pictures up here. And that was really fun. So the Thursday, the day before the homecoming game, there's a traditional homecoming bonfire. So yeah, every year Student Council puts this on. And this year we had a lot more people than we expected, a couple hundred. So we were really excited about that. There's music playing. We had Chub Eats bring their food truck out, and we had the fire going, of course, which we were thankful that the fire station did cooperate with us on that one. We had some difficulties there, but
That's a serious fire.
yeah, I would have started snap the picture. Another tradition that we're excited to do, because even when my aunts and my grandpa went to Union, they did this tradition. It was a float building, and so each class creates their float, and we have teachers not involved in Student Council judge which float is the best from 1 to 4 places based on criteria of creativity, use of the football theme, and use of the homecoming theme, which again was Hollywood. So seniors won. Totally excited about that. Then we have our homecoming parade. So in the last couple of years, the parade has just been the class floats along with the homecoming royalty. But we decided we kind of wanted to broaden it this year, and we asked all the clubs in our school if they wanted to participate. So we had clubs who usually aren't in it, like NHS, and we had cheer half a float, and it was really fun. We had probably a little over 15, so we were really excited. And that just kind of started, and so people came out of their classes and were able to watch the parade go around the school, and that just led right into our Pep Assembly. So this was kind of the first Pep Assembly for the sophomores and freshmen, and the first one we've had in probably 2 years. And so we wanted to make a good impression. So a lot of brainstorming happened in our class meetings about that. But it went pretty well besides the little sprinkling. We were able to crown the royalty for freshmen, sophomore, and junior class, because senior was crowned at the game. We had a game of tug of war, as you can see in that picture. We had band playing, cheer performed. We had a couple of our student council officers along with the football captains speak. And this is the homecoming part 2, or as we called it, homecoming the sequel, to kind of go with the theme. So yeah, the dance was canceled. We had to reschedule. We were able to get another DJ since the one that we previously had was booked. But you can see the balloon arches, so that's a portion of our dance there. So we were really proud of the turnout of the dance and how we were able to do it. Student Council this year was placed in charge of concessions, and what we had is for the first 4 games, we had each of the 4 classes take the booth and sell so we could try to make some profit. And additionally, we reached out to different food trucks and other small food businesses to sell at the game. So that's how we got, the kettle corn or the soda places, and so we were excited about that. Video announcements is something that we started last month. Mr. Mapp asked us to start this, and it's been really fun. I feel like more kids know the announcements now than just kind of tuning them out over the intercom. And so we've been able to kind of use creativity, and the students and student council have been able to script it, edit it, film it. And it's just been really fun. And probably the favorite part about it is that we are able to get the students and staff involved. Like, for example, Thanksgiving week, we were able to interview a lot of teachers and students what their favorite Thanksgiving tradition was or what their favorite food was. And so that's one aspect of it. Next up, we have the AASC Spirit Conference. So to kind of explain what AASC is the Arizona Association of Student Council. And so this has been going on for a long time. It's just an organization that provides a lot of different activities for the student councils across the state, including these spirit conferences. They have president luncheons where presidents of the student councils are able to meet up and kind of discuss how things are run in their at their schools and their councils, and then the big event is Go State, which is happening in January in Phoenix this year. The location changes every year as different schools host, which thousands of kids attend, and there's always fun themes for these events. As you can see here, the theme was Gear Up for Leadership, so that's why we're dressed as mechanics. Yeah, so there's always motivational speakers, activities, there's great spirit, literally the most amazing people that you'll ever meet. And they provide information for upcoming events, and so that was something fun that we were able to do.
Joe says white shirts, mechanics.
Next up, we have the community drive-through trunk or treat, kind of a mouthful there. So that started last year when the city, which usually provides the trick or treat for children, they weren't able to do it due to COVID. And so our student council was like, you know what, let's do something for our community in this tough time. And so we asked different organizations, clubs, and businesses throughout town and our school to set up a booth. And this year we did a candy drive. We got thousands of pieces of candy, so that's great. So these cars, they just kind of go through where the bus barn is next to school, and they go all around, and then they zigzag through the parking lot where we set up the booths, chalk it all out. And it's just a safe, fun environment, great way to get candy for kids, don't even have to walk. So it's fun for them. Yeah, this is right when it started, we were able to snap a picture real quick of the student council booth, so that was fun. So Senior Sunrise happened last month, and we had around 100 seniors come, which was a really good turnout for 6 a.m. in the morning after on a busy weekend. And Senior Class was able to provide free donuts and coffee. So kind of to explain what Senior Sunrise is, so in the beginning of the year, the seniors all meet up to watch the sunrise together. It's kind of like poetic, the beginning of the year, and at the end of the year we have Senior Sunset, and so it's kind of the closing of the senior year. It's just kind of it's fun, it's bonding. So student council oversees choosing the student section themes, and we have had a lot of football games. We're very excited that our football team has made it to state this year. It's so exciting. And so far we have had Cougar Crazy, Pink Out for breast cancer, Black Out for senior night, and White Out for the homecoming game, camo, and a comfy, cozy pajama student section theme. And we've been trying to do more than just football this year, so we were actually able to set up for the senior night of the girls volleyball and provide a student section there and advertise that. Yeah, and so this Friday, the student section being Cougar Crazy, obviously school spirit for state, so it's gonna be so much fun. And that kind of goes along with different spirit weeks. So I believe we're on our 3rd spirit week right now. So this is just kind of a fun way to excite kids and kind of get them involved. Just it's fun to see everyone dress up, get in spirit, show their creativity. And I mean,
Yes.
yeah.
Barbecue.
That was a lot of peanuts and spatulas. It's lots of fun. Oh yeah, we've done 2 cleanups this year. One in the first quarter. That was to clean up under the bleachers, and lots of bugs there, lots of screams. We were able to do that. And then last month we cleaned the bleachers after a football game, and we did that with NHS. And the next semester we plan to do a cleanup 3rd quarter and 4th quarter. this last week, we held a mini bridge Pep Assembly, which was our first one for this year. And so, yeah, like kind of last minute, we threw it all together to celebrate our football team going to the semifinals, because that was really exciting. And so kids came out during homeroom and, dance, performed a little like flash mob thing downstairs in the crowd. We had band play, and the football coach borrowed to speak along with several of our Stuco officers. So that was good. Just to close, some kind of upcoming goals and events for the classes. So seniors, of course, are always busy. A lot of events for seniors. And so Powder Puff sign-up started today, which is where the girls play flag football. Powder Buff, where boys play volleyball, is next semester. Along with like the senior video, senior shirts, senior sunset, and of course the big graduation. So there's lots of events going on for seniors. The juniors, they have worked concessions a lot this year and have even done a Chipotle fundraiser night for the money for prom, which they're meeting every week to plan. So really excited to see what they pull together. Sophomore class, they're currently planning more, but that date's set for January 22nd, and that's going to be exciting. In the freshman class, I'm really proud of the freshmen this year. Unfortunately, none of them were able to be in the class because we do have a student council class, but freshmen aren't necessarily placed in charge of an event like the other classes are with dances. So just because we don't want to like throw something at them right out there. But they have done like a movie night, and they're currently doing holiday candygrams right now. So they're doing pretty good. For student body, we hope to do a lot more for the school with events and spirit weeks. And we're currently working a lot on social media. I'm kind of proud we doubled our followers this year. We've kind of been doing more fun videos, more trendy stuff. So I think that's helped a lot. It gets more people to look at the information. We've done a lot of polls or ask people opinions of what they want for, such things as like spirit weeks. And so that's really helped try to get like the student body opinion, because that's what we're focusing a lot more on this year, of like not so much what student council wants to do, but what the student body wants to do. So
Just a question, do you post that on the district site also, or is it?
no, it's a separate page. It's Stuco CGHS.
Okay.
Yeah.
Taylor, did you mention your involvement in Key Club?
I did not mention I'm involved in the Key Club, but I am.
You had quite a showing Saturday.
There was a lot of
cashiers.
Yeah, I was the cashier.
Yes, good job.
Pretty good. Yeah.
The only other question I had, the sponsors for student council, who does the student council class, and who are your sponsors for the senior class?
So Mrs. Brady is the student body and the senior class advisor. She does a lot there, but they kind of go hand in hand. It's kind of nice. And then there's 3 other ones for the other classes. But yes, this Mrs. Brady kind of runs it.
That's awesome. Just like to thank her also. Thank you for coming this evening. That was awesome.
That's good.
Been a tremendous year for you guys. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Battle, we are down to B, superintendent's report.
Yes, it'd be my pleasure to kind of tag team what Kayla shared, as we had lots of wonderful things happening. But to highlight a few, Union's marching band was second. I know that information came out, but I want to make it public. What a wonderful season they had, as they actually won all other tournaments, and then were second in the one in Tucson, and then also second in their division by just 0.25 or something like that. So we're very proud of them. And then, as Kayla mentioned, we also are going to be playing in the championship against Holston Butte on Friday night, early evening, I should say, at 4 p.m. at ASU. So we look forward to a positive outcome, safe experience for the kiddos and families as they travel to and from. The Key Club and the NHS collaborated on the November 13th to collect garbage and to clean parking lot at Casa Grande, where they respectively attend. So there's lots and lots of community service, and we appreciate the sponsors and staff that help our students to be able to do that. The quarterback at Union, Angel Flores, has been nominated to receive the Ed Doherty Award. And that's going to be coming up on December 18th. Just Matt, myself, Coach Barrow, of course, and his family, and of course the athletic director, Randy, will be able to attend on that Saturday. And we hope that he's able to be recognized. And even if he does not, being nominated, he's in a class of some very wonderful athletes, and some play on Sundays. So we're really happy for Angel and all that he represents to our school, but also our district at large. Additionally, more good stuff about our phenomenal Key Club. Wanted to say as one of our board members who spends a lot of time there, but also having the opportunity to meet with them on Thursdays and with Melanie as well. We appreciate their work. Casa Grande High School Key Club collected and respectively donated over 1,000 non-perishable canned food to Casa Grande Food Bank and to assist families during the holiday seasons. So again, those are just a few highlights that I want to recognize that's happening around the district. And as I was sharing with Mary this past week, I love our kids. We have some of the best babies that anyone could ever have in the school district. So good job. And I absolutely appreciate our leadership and our staff because, you know, without leadership, it's difficult. So thank you very much. That's what I have to say.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yes, there's a lot of good stuff going on in Casa Grande Union High School and within the community of Casa Grande as a whole. Item 5 is public comment, and there was a call to the public, and there were no cards presented beforehand, so we'll go ahead and move on down to item 6, matters for board action. And first up is ASBA policy revision, second reading for adoption. And we have multiple policies here that we kind of reviewed earlier as a yes, we want to just get some quick highlight.
Sure. As we were able to during the study session, I was able to go through with the board each of the policies that are listed in section D, E, G, I, and a new policy, I should say, in JLCB. Those are found in the board agenda. Without going through all of them now, I think that would suffice. Is that good?
That sounds great.
Okay.
We have a motion, get a motion to adopt the second reading and adoption of the policies as presented.
Are we reading this one?
Yeah, you can just say just adopt it.
So moved.
I will second.
Kelly moved and Joe seconded the reading of the SBA policy revision, second reading for adoption. Mary, call for the vote, please.
Mr. Wright,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
Mr. Lopez,
Yes.
Mr. Hennis,
Yes.
Ms. Harrington.
Yes.
Item B is the new and revised district. These are district policies regarding extracurricular activity. Dr. Bentley else has discussed this, but maybe just a brief overview.
Sure, my pleasure. So what we've done is we revised the JJJ extracurricular activities so that it's clear about when students are eligible and what the requirements are to be eligible, as well as the NARCON administration policy based upon what we've seen in society relative to being able to support individuals who are in trouble because of over medication or the like. We have a policy in place to ensure we're able to provide those services.
And per your discussion earlier, the district attorney read the NARCON policy.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that, Mr. Hennis. Working with the nurses at each site, they first did the first draft. I was able to submit it to our legal counsel, and they were able to create a policy to be supported that could be shared with other school districts as well.
Okay. You have the first reading of these new policies before you. Is there a motion to approve the first reading?
I will move to approve the first reading of district policy revisions to JJJ, including extracurricular activity eligibility and new district NARCON administration policy.
I have a motion by Joe. Chuck, I'm going to take that as a second.
Yes. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Motion by Joe and a second by Chuck. Any other questions? If not, Mayor will call for the vote, please.
Mr. Wright? Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Mr. Hennis?
Yes.
Ms. Harrington?
Yes.
Item C is a motion to approve the intergovernmental agreement between Pima County, the JTED, and Casa Grande Union High School concerning AZCT curriculum consortium as presented.
I make a motion to approve item C, 1988 ACCE curriculum consortium.
There's a motion by
I
Chuck
second.
and a second by Taylor. Thank you. Any other questions on that? If not, we'll go ahead and call for the vote, Mayor, for the approval of the curriculum consortium.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez,
Yes.
Mr. Hennis,
Yes,
Mrs. Harrington,
Yes.
that passes. We're down to item D, which is, we had a request, for, the district to approve a foreign trade zone, letters of support. In the past, Dr. Bennett, you can relate this, we've been approached, by different businesses for support on the letter. Doesn't mean for the district, it's just kind of just a middle, not a middle to anything, but just offering support.
Yes, sir, that's correct. So as it relates to the executive content, moreover, having a chance to speak with the city developer, both of the letters are letters of support. Of course, there's lots of work still to be done. It's very relative to some rezoning, and taxes that are associated with it.
And there are no tax implications for anyone else, this is.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
You know, motion to approve the foreign trade zone letters of support for, as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the foreign trade zone letters of support for Chang Chun and LCY as presented.
There's, Kelly moved and Joe seconded. Any other questions on that? If not, Mayor will go ahead and call for vote, please.
Mr. Wright,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
Mr. Lopez,
Yes.
Mr. Hennis,
Yes.
Mrs. Harrington,
Yes.
Item E is an intergovernmental cooperative purchasing agreement. This is so that with the district has access to better, bigger and better buying power with a group of people. We're using one currently in Mojave, and this is another avenue for us to do.
So actually, Mr. Hennis, this is the one that's associated with the lobbyists.
Right.
Yes, and so, as we have access and will continue to have access to, Asba lobbyists, this particular consultant, will be working with some rural districts. So it's an added benefit that would support, legislation that will be coming about shortly this month and extending into next semester.
Yeah, looking at the list of who potentially is going to be, is most of the kind of outlying districts, et cetera, as opposed to the inner city or the city ones.
Yes, sir, and that's one of the main reasons why want to work with them. And I should say that we will be among a number of rural districts, to your point, and we'll know later if we're actually selected, but we need to get board approval now for that, should come.
Okay, that sounds great. So is there a motion to approve the intergovernmental cooperative agreement as presented?
I make a motion, we approve by the meeting intergovernmental cooperative purchasing agreement.
Motion by Chuck, is there a second?
Second.
And a second by Taylor. Any other questions? If not, we'll go Mary, call for the vote, please.
Mr. Wright,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby, Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
Mr. Lopez,
Yes.
Mr. Hennis,
Yes.
and did you say yes?
No, that was Taylor said it twice.
Taylor says yes twice.
And Mr. Lopez,
We're just,
Sorry about that.
it's all good.
your voice changed. Mrs.
I
Harrington?
just thought Larry cut out there for a second.
Yes.
All right, that passes, I think, after that moment.
At least by 4.
Moment of hilarity
It
there.
may have passed a couple times over.
There we go. We're down to an item to ask from the continuity. I believe we're gonna have a little bit of a presentation by the continuity of learning committee.
Yes, sir, thank you, Mr. Hennis. I've asked, one of the co-leads, Mr. Casey, to share with you a little bit about what we are asking you to consider. And of course, as a district, we are willing to support the direction of the board. So we have had a chance to get some input, from our stakeholders in the district. And I want to commend the continuity of committee, learning committee, who has main objective. We've learned from the last few years as educators that we should not assume that there could not be interruption to school. And so we believe it's our responsibility to continue with learning. So that was the impetus of the group. One particular tonight is to talk a little bit about what we said we do in returning before the end of the semester moving forward. Mr. Casey.
President Hennis, board members, Dr. Battle, thank you. You know, as we've talked about in the past couple months, we had a master proposal that you guys reviewed and you approved. to allow us to have a requirement of a mask with an opt-out. We did come back and we talked about how we would review bi-weekly all of the stats from Pinal County, also involving school districts in Pinal County. So we have those that we measure and we look at what's coming our way, how things are either rising or dropping. And so we've looked at that data, we continue to look at that data. So what we would like to do is we want to come back and say, just like we did, we said we come back and we propose either a continuation of the same proposal or we provide something new and updated. So we're going to do kind of a both scenario. Based off of numbers that we are looking at continuously, that we see some rising going up. And so the Continuing Learning Committee, we've come together and we are proposing the following, that on December 7th, which is today, we're going to propose a 2-week mask requirement for all following the return to campus from winter break beginning Tuesday, January 4th, 2022 through Friday, January 14th, 2022. Employees, students, and all visitors will be required to wear a mask while indoors at all sites at CG, VG, and the district office from, again, the 4th of January through the 14th of January, coming back from our break. Coincide with that, we are continuing still to propose that as of Monday the 17th, after that 2-week break, or after that 2-week session of wearing a mask, that will continue on with the current policy or the current requirement with the mask opts out from January 17th, which is a Monday, through the end of the semester, which would be May 26th, I believe, if I'm correct. So that would follow that piece. Obviously, if numbers continue to rise, then as the committee, we would look at this continuously bi-weekly throughout the semester to make sure that we are still on top of everything. And if we felt the need to address the mask requirement again, then we would bring another proposal to you guys for you to vote on, okay? I believe you guys have in front of you the data survey that we sent out. So what I'm gonna do is Mel's gonna bring this up and she's gonna review the survey. Since you have it in front of you, because she has her computer, and I don't have it up here on this. But one other caveat I'd like to put in play is that as the committee, along with Dr. Battle, we would like to know that we are going to support your direction in this matter, and that we recognize that this could cause an unwelcome change for families for those 2 weeks. So however you all decide to move forward, we will support. We just want to propose those 2 pieces of it so that we can move forward with a direct effect towards how we're moving forward. Okay.
And just to clarify, it's when indoors, correct? When they're
Yes, sir.
passing indoors, et cetera, and other situations, lunch, the 5 minutes, 7 minutes between passing periods, et cetera, masks are not required. It's just indoor situation settings, et cetera, correct?
Correct. So that'll apply the same thing as what we do with the opt-out with what currently the students can, they can wear the mask inside the classroom, but if they're in the hallway, such as at Vista, they are able to take it off. So that would apply to the same scenario also. Okay.
And I'm just going to give a quick update. We sent the committee decided it was important to obviously ask our parents, our students, and our staff about their feelings. We all know that we come together over the holidays and we are in the presence of many more people that we normally are not. A lot more time at home, in other people's homes, traveling, et cetera. And so we sent out just a very quick 3-question survey. That's the one that Dave said, you know, mine went out, his went out the same day. Mine was much shorter than his, ours was much shorter. We just asked them to identify parent, staff, or student. And so I believe you have in front of you that information. What you're looking at is responses of 1,600 plus responses. I will tell you that as of 2 seconds ago, we actually have 1,648 responses, which is, that's a very positive response to a survey. I don't know how many Dave got out of his survey, not that I'm keeping track, but our survey was, I think it's all about the naming of the survey. You put a mask in the title of anything at this point and you're gonna get survey response. But just looking at our responses, and I'll give you
What I'm going to tell you is the data as of right now, just so that you have those numbers and you can kind of compare. We have 913 parents respond, 528 students, and 204 staff members. It's broken down by sites, which did not change very much. Statistically, if you look at the graph, we have 286 individuals from CG Union, 417 from Vista Grande, and 7 from our online academy. And then the district office employees, there were 20. So we asked, ultimately, we gave data, we showed trends, we reviewed the data with the public and asked, basically, do you agree with a 2-week mask mandate beginning immediately following winter break, as Sean described, or do you not agree with that? And so we have 1,043 individuals who agree with the 2-week mask opt-in, basically the big requirement. For just that 2-week period, 595 did not agree with it, and 2 were other. And 2, I think, just didn't want to answer it. I think that's where it kind of falls in that category. So we really have almost double, almost 70, what is that, 75, 80% of responders, 70%. Don't judge me on my math skills. I'm an English history
Is there a
teacher.
way to break it down to see how the students are responding versus the parents versus the teachers,
Yeah.
to see if there's a difference on that?
We can do that. We didn't do that here. The survey was anonymous, but we can look at the data and pull it out by student and by parent.
I was
and
just
staff.
curious,
Sure.
yeah, just to see if there's a sway one way or another based on the 3 different groups.
Yeah, it was interesting. Thank you for asking that. We talked about it in our meeting yesterday, day before. And so we just need to pull the data out in an Excel spreadsheet, and I can get that to all of you. Looking at the overwhelming response from our parents was very, that was really a wonderful surprise, to be honest with you. So the majority of the people who responded were parents. So that we drew that correlation between the data, but we can certainly aggregate that and disaggregate it for you. And again, we'll do what the board asks us to do and obviously follow the trends. Mr. Lopez?
Yeah, you're obviously monitoring this on a weekly basis. You mentioned that you're gonna revisit this with the board if the need is there to make a change. When would that time frame be, based on what you see from the county as far as the results? Or do you have like a February, March date planned?
I wouldn't say that we have a true date in mind. It's just every 2 weeks we meet as a committee and we decide, hey, here's the trends that are working, and the data is always 2 weeks behind. But we also have I'd say a week behind of what we get from school. So from our nurses, we get how many cases have been positive, how many cases are waiting, who's quarantined, not who's, but numbers wise. So we know each week how many students have been through this process with Vista and Union. We also have a correlation or a numbers of staff also says this is who's had it and stuff like that. So we look at those things. And so the whole thing is when you look at Pinal County, and it's on the website, and it's 2 weeks behind, but you get to see kind of how it's rising. I think the percentage
Over
is at 20.
17. I thought it was at 17. When we gave you this data, when we pulled the survey, it was at 15.
Yes.
It's over 17 now.
So we'll continue to monitor that every 2
Working
weeks.
out.
And if it looks like it continues to go this way, then we'll discuss it at the committee and we'll go off the lead of Dr. Battle, and then I'm sure we'll get in touch with President Hennis and kind of say, here's what we're going to look at, and we'll like to propose this particular proposal, or we're going to continue as is. So I'm sure we'll give updates, and then Dr. Battle will continue to give you guys updates, and then you'll know ahead of time before we bring the proposal to you.
The Dr. Battles that we send out, we get a weekly, at the end of the week, we get a compilation that's 2 weeks behind. And the one from November 21st is 20%.
Yeah. So it has gone up, and so your positive percentage rate has gone up. I want to say transition, but it's not transition. But there's something at 20, and so there's some things that we look at as far as the movement of it.
Including the number of vaccinated.
Right.
Any other questions?
Thank you. So the your recommendation is, when we come back from the winter break, since everybody's been out and about here, there, everywhere, having Christmas and, you know, being with families, et cetera, just have no idea. And as we can see on some of them, we see how many kids are missing at different times, either being tested or and it's for the you can see the Thanksgiving has had an effect, which is not good, right before the end of the quarter and heading into the Christmas break. So your recommendation then is to, after, when we come back, the continuity learning groups is to require masks in all situations, teachers, students, anybody on campus, et cetera, except when in outdoor situations. And for those 2 weeks, and then we'd be looking at, you have a request or an idea for us after that point about continuing, or you would go straight into the, what we're currently under right now, right?
At this point in time, it would continuation of what we're currently under as of the 17th of January.
So those that have already signed it and
Opted out.
opted out of it, we'll just be able to make
That
that
is-
choice
that is
at that point.
correct.
And if there are others who want to at that point, they can do the opt-out at that point.
Yes, sir.
Okay, discussion or thoughts or a motion?
I will make a motion to move to approve to accept the master proposals from the Continuity Learning Committee as presented tonight.
I'll second.
There's a motion by Joe and a second by Kelly. Any other questions or discussion? If not, we'll go ahead and call for the vote. Mary?
Mr. Wright,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
Mr. Lopez,
Yes.
Mr. Hennis,
Yes.
and Ms. Harrington.
Yes.
We are down to item G, donations, and we are always fortunate and for the amount of people who donate money, time, et cetera. But specifically the group that, we've got multiple donations here from different folks and totaling a pretty large amount. And if we could, if we get a motion to accept these donations as presented,
I'll move to accept, I'm gonna read it because I always like to share what
you bet.
people are donating. The following donations, $300 from Schlenker, $40 from Arms, $250 from Lone Wolf Wildlife and Pest Control, and $200 from Torres to the CG boys basketball team, $2,000 from an anonymous donor, and $500 from the American Legion to the Vista Grande JROTC, and a charter bus to the CG State Championship valued at $1,351 from Scott Lehman to the CG football team.
We have a motion. Is there a second to that?
I would say.
Joe seconded. Any other discussion on that? It's not gonna be required to say Premier Auto on the side of that stuff. Just as a question.
No, you say Scott says yes.
Scott says yes to CG winning, so. If not, we'll, seeing no questions, I will go ahead and call for the vote, Mary, please.
Mr. Wright,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
Mr. Lopez,
Yes.
Mr. Hennis,
Yes.
Ms. Harrington.
Yes.
We are down to item 7, which is the consent agenda. We have items A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and J. Underneath there, is there any of these items that are being requested to be pulled or discussion on anything?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve consent agenda priority A through J. And I would like to acknowledge Ms. Reynolds, student. Thank you very much.
That sounds good. We have a motion by Chuck. Is there a second?
Second.
Joe second. Any other discussion? If not, Mayor, we'll go ahead and call for the vote, please.
Mr. Wright,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
Mr. Lopez,
Yes.
Mr. Hennis,
Yes.
and Ms. Harrington.
Yes.
7:26, and seeing no further business to come before us, we are adjourned for this evening. Everybody be careful, be safe. Thank you very much for this evening. Go Cougars.
Thank you.
Jack. Have